I don't cheat and I don't lie. So I learned that when I was a kid. If you did, the old man slapped you side of the head. Maybe somebody should have slapped him.
I really don't even know what to say here about this situation. We'll take anything we can get in the off season, but this is like some, you know how they have these like Real Housewives shows, like the Real Housewives of New Jersey and the Real Housewives of New York and all that. This is like the Real Housewives of college football here. Nick Saban and Jimbo Fisher, this situation here is, it's entertaining, I guess, if you're not directly involved in it. If you've been under a rock, Nick Saban was giving or had an appearance at some business leaders forum or something last night. And there was a question and answer segment, I guess. And basically, he accused Texas A&M and Jimbo Fisher of buying every single recruit they signed in last year's class. He didn't beat around the bush. Those are the exact words he said. They bought every player. That's an exact quote from Nick Saban. They bought every player. Now, what he's referring to is this NIL collective deal that a lot of different schools have going on now. Texas A&M has kind of been the poster child for this for a couple of reasons. One, their NIL collective was huge. And two, they signed the #1 class this past year and signed the most 5 stars ever in one class. An NIL collective doesn't have anything to do with the school itself. It's basically a group of boosters, alumni, donors, fans, right? They pool their money together into an LLC or a nonprofit or a charity or whatever the case. And the money is then used for name, image, and likeness for players on the team they support. So in this case, Texas A&M. So it's not actually Texas A&M or Jimbo Fisher handing players or recruits any money. That's not what it is. It's private individuals. Now, the problem with it's legal. That's the issue, really. It's legal right now. It's not against the rules. That's what everyone needs to understand, really, about what Texas A&M did. It's not technically against the rules, and it didn't violate any of Texas's state laws when it comes to name, image, and likeness. And this is kind of the problem. 50 states, 50 different sets of laws governing name, image, and likeness. And this is why they're trying to get the government involved, make everything level. So anyway, Jimbo Fisher gave a press conference this morning. You need to watch this whole press conference. I'm going to put a link at the very top of the description of this video. You need to watch it. Now, the link that I found, for whatever reason, it's like 4 minutes of nothing before Jimbo Fisher finally comes out and starts talking. So you have to fast forward a little bit. I don't know. Well, I do know. I have never seen a college football head coach just completely go in on somebody like I just saw Jimbo Fisher do to Nick Saban. Called him despicable multiple times, accused him basically of cheating without giving any specifics, and he was even asked at one point, are you accusing Nick Saban of recruiting violations? And he said, I'm just making a statement. But he says multiple times, go dig around, see what you find there, that kind of thing. He said, this guy thinks he's the college football god. He's not. This guy thinks he's the college football czar. He's not. He thinks he walks on water. He's not. He even said at one point someone needs to slap him. He said someone needs to slap Nick Saban. I mean, this is, like I said, it's very entertaining, I guess, if you're not directly involved in it. But this is, I've never seen anything like this. I've oftentimes wondered, you hear people say all the time, everybody cheats. Okay, let's assume that's true, right? And of course, Jimbo Fisher used to work for Nick Saban. Let's assume that that's true. Actually, take Jimbo Fisher and Nick Saban away from it altogether. Isn't it strange that, to me it's strange this has never happened before. You basically have one coach, Nick Saban, accusing another coach, Jimbo Fisher, of cheating the system in NIL. And then you have Jimbo Fisher coming out and saying, well, we didn't cheat, but I know for a fact you cheat. Have you ever wondered why that hasn't happened before? Why you haven't had disgruntled coaches, former coaches, pissed off coaches, offensive coordinator that gets fired, whatever, come out and say, oh, you want to fire me? Well, I got proof that we paid this guy and that guy. I've often wondered why we've never seen that. This is basically what's going on here with Nick Saban and Jimbo Fisher. It's It's very odd. It's very strange. And you need to watch this press conference that Jimbo Fisher did. Like I said, I think he talks for about 10 minutes. The entire 10 minutes is him shitting in Nick Saban's mouth. There's no other way to say it. There is no other way to say it. He's asked if has Nick Saban tried to reach out to you or contact you in the last 24 hours since he made those comments last night. Jimbo said, yeah, he tried, but I don't have any interest in talking to him. I didn't take his call. I'm not going to take his call. We're done. Our relationship is over. It's done. He was like, my daddy told me when I was a kid, when somebody shows you who they are, believe them. And then he looked right in the camera, Jimbo Fisher, and he goes, Nick Saban is showing you who he is. That's who he is. I swear, if he called him despicable one time, he called him despicable 100 times. I've never seen anything like it, ever. I don't know what's going to happen. SEC Media Days is going to be awfully interesting. That's in July. All the coaches get together. It's in Birmingham, I believe. All the coaches get together for the conference meetings. The Media Days thing every summer. It happens in July. Every conference does one. As far as I'm aware, that's going to be the first time that Nick Saban and Jimbo Fisher are going to see each other since all this what's going on. And I don't think this is over. I don't think this is over. First of all, if there's any truth to what Jimbo Fisher is claiming, which is basically that Nick Saban's been cheating the whole time, if there's any truth to that, if there's anybody else out there who knows that and for whatever reason has been skeptical to come forward and say it, who knows? I don't know what's going to happen. Let me say this for the record, too. I've always liked Nick Saban. I've always thought he was a great coach. I currently think he's the greatest coach in the history of college football. I don't like the way he has treated the media sometimes, but outside of that, not that I defend Nick Saban, but people have been saying all the time, oh, Alabama cheats all the time, blah blah blah. I don't know that to be true. I don't. I've kind of defended Nick Saban on that, and I'm not suggesting he is cheating now, but it's just strange, very strange to have a current SEC head coach directly accusing another coach of cheating. It's just very strange, and I don't know if I've ever seen this before. I don't know. And I've not really liked Jimbo Fisher going back to his days at Florida State. I've had some issues with the way Jimbo Fisher has handled his program. And, not necessarily that he's been cheating or anything like that, but I didn't like the way he handled some of the situations at Florida State. But in this particular instance, I agree with Jimbo Fisher, basically. I don't like the way the NIL stuff is set up right now, but the rules there are no rules. So it does sound kind of petty for Nick Saban to come out and say, well, Texas A&M bought every player they have. It does sound kind of petty. I might not like the way Texas A&M went about it, but they're operating within the rules. So if you don't like the rules, we can change the rules, and that's sort of a separate argument than did Texas A&M and Jimbo Fisher break any rules. I don't think they did. I don't think they did. I think they took advantage of the situation, which was NIL was brand new. There were no rules. There's no regulations. No one is really monitoring it. So they went out and did it. And a lot of other schools did it too. They just didn't do it as successfully last year as Texas A&M did. Ohio State has publicly announced they have an NIL collective. Almost every single school in America has got either already has an NIL collective or they're in the process of developing one. So the fact that Texas A&M was sort of at the forefront of that, I don't really see how that equates to them doing something wrong. So I don't know why Saban thought it was a good idea to come out and say that. And obviously Jimbo Fisher, you know what we hear all the time when people get accused of something, right? A lot of times, I'm talking mostly legal stuff here, they get a lawyer and you never hear anything from him. People always say, oh man, if that was me and I was accused and I knew I didn't do it, I'd be all over the place screaming from the mountaintops that I was innocent and that they were wrong and they were lying. Well, that's what Jimbo Fisher is doing. He's not hiding. He's not running. He's not ducking. He's not refusing to answer any questions. He straight up came out today and absolutely put a verbal beatdown on Nick Saban and the idea that Texas A&M somehow cheated or did something wrong with last year's recruiting class. He didn't straddle any fences. There was no coach speak. There was definitely no coach speak. If you're one of these people like I am that complains about coach speak all the time, coaches talk for 20 minutes but don't say nothing, That's not the case in this Jimbo Fisher press conference. And so, again, I'll leave the link down below. You can go watch it. But it is must-see TV, and I can't wait to see what happens next in this here. Nick Saban versus Jimbo Fisher. I have a feeling we're just getting started, though.
Down front, Brent.
I guess there's some thought on collectives, you know, schools, programs, collectives, universities, collectives. Are you aware of what they do, how they go about it, and
No, I'm
so
not.
forth? Okay.
I'm
So
not
you have
involved in
no
those circles.
knowledge of any of
They
that
have
in terms of-
collectives. I know there's a collective here. I don't know who's got what, when's got what. Had no idea last year. That is not what we do or what we're about.
I was gonna say, that's by design, you saying, hey, I'm staying out of this. and you
Yeah,
do
I
what you
mean,
do.
how am I going to, I mean, I have no sponsorships in those things. And that's the truth. Listen, I'm going to tell you one thing. You can call me anything you want to call me. You ain't calling me a cheat. I don't cheat and I don't lie. So I learned that when I was a kid. If you did, the old man slapped you side of the head. Maybe somebody should have slapped him. But that's one thing you don't. Now you're fooling with their name.